Hello, thank you very much for joining me. Today I'm going to do another experiment on this 10 by 12 inch canvas board. I've bought some Crackle medium which I'm going to try, but first of all I'm going to paint the base with a lovely mixture of this dark green mixed from Prussian blue, a little bit of raw sienna, tiny bit of raw umber and some little tiny bit of yellow, and it makes a really delicious mossy dark green, which I want to add as a base because I want then to use the Crackle paste on the top. So this is the texture medium. This is one that I bought from the range. It's not one I've used before, and the main problem is there are no instructions on it. Okay, so we'll see how things go. I've wet the base with a mixture of clean tap water and the Acrylic Flow Enhancer medium, and now I'm just going to apply a nice sky. This is a sort of soft eggshell blue, and then I'm going to add some Prussian blue in there just to give a little bit more depth. It's actually a beautiful day here today and the sun is shining, the sky is blue, so that's inspired me to do this background. This literally is just to test how this medium works. I normally use the PBO or Pebio, I'm not quite sure how you say it, the two-step one. And if you've watched some of my earlier videos, you will have seen how that works, and it's very successful. But this I picked up and thought I'll give it a try. So we'll see. This is a nice cadmium yellow. I'm just going to put this across to make it look like fields, add a little bit of white, and there's that beautiful green mix I'd made. It really is the most gorgeous green. It's actually far nicer to make your own mixes of greens than buy a ready mix one, even though those are easier. And just to add the depth, I'm just going to use the palette knife and just pull those colours across. I'm not worrying too much, I just want a variety because it sort of, I'm hoping that what will happen is the crackles will show and this will show through underneath. So I'm adding in a little bit of that raw sienna. All these colours that I've mixed together can be put on individually and they work harmoniously. Now I'm just going to put a really quite heavy mix of that dark green and applying it vertically with this palette knife. I'm actually giving the impression of trees. So easy. A little bit of shrubbery just at the side with no great detail, just a shape and a suggestion. So I'll make that area quite dark, and then I'm going to add some on this other side. We're swept across with the colours now. It's looking really quite pretty. I'm not quite sure I want to cover it with anything now, but in the interest of experimentation, I will do. So again, just pulling across with the knife, mixing the colours as they go, not worrying too much. They'll all work together, I know that. So just pulling those down and then just push those up a little bit. Because those are lighter, they look further away. Things that are further away are always slightly paler than the things close to us. So we've actually got a nice bit of depth going on in this little canvas. Now I'm just going to level out some of that sky, add in a little bit more of the blue, mix it in, give it a good base. I can always come back to this afterwards and add in some clouds if I want to, but we'll see how the experiment works first, I think. That comes nice, pale down to the horizon, and that's really quite nicely mixed now. Okay, a few more little bits of trees, just loosely added. Soften that line there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is section this into different areas using just a ruler and a pencil, which is actually a pastel pencil, it's just a pale grey. The beauty of doing something like that is that if you want to get rid of the lines, which I will do, it just washes off. You can just wet your finger and wash it away. It's great. So I'm going to put some lines in where I think I'm going to put the medium, and there'll be some areas that I'll leave without anything, so that we've got a mixture of textures. It's going to look quite abstract, hopefully, but still be noticeably a landscape. Okay, so just deciding where I want a few sections, and I shall very quickly speed that up for you and just show you how I broke that down. Not too many, just enough. We want to give it a good test of this paste, medium. Perhaps put one up there as well. Okay, so here we are. I've got them all sectioned up. Now I'm going to decide which lines I want to keep and which sections I actually do want to put the medium onto, because I won't put it onto everywhere. So just breaking that down a little bit, I put an extra line in there, and I'm going to take that line out. So as you can see, it just rubs off really easily, just pastel. Just wet my finger a little bit and just take those out. Very simple. This is a great tip for transferring images onto a darker background using a soft pastel pencil. And I'm just going to, in that little one, I just put a tick because I just want to make sure I keep that, and we've softened that line down. Now, like I said, no instructions on this, so I'm just pouring some of the medium into a lid, and I'm just going to apply it with a soft brush. It's a nice flat brush, so it makes it easier to get into those shapes that I've drawn. And I'm just going to brush it on into all of those areas. It said to give it a good coat, so I'll do that. That little bit of a section there. Pull that across. Yeah, we'll pull that down there. Like I said, I'm almost a little bit reticent now that I've seen the colours in the backgrounds anyway. So I'll just speed this up for you. It's a little bit like watching paint dry, so I'm just painting it onto all those sections that I said that I was going to put it into. And I'll do some on this dark corner here. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap actually. I know I haven't drawn a line, but I'm not going to go quite up to that line there. And we'll see how that looks when it's finished off. Okay, so brushing this on. And this is what it looks like. It's been drying for about 10 minutes and it's sort of gone into, well, I could describe it in certain ways, but I will just call it puddling at the moment. So I'm going to leave it to dry and we'll see what happens. Okay, had a bit of a disaster. What I discovered was that nothing was actually happening. So I put another coat on and suddenly thought, I wonder if you have to mix it with paint. So now I'm just going to really, really quickly go into those colours that I had on the palette that made the background and start mixing the paint into this second layer of goopy acrylic crackle medium and see what happens. So I'm going to speed that up. Because I'm working very quickly. I'm not worrying too much even what colours I'm putting in, which could be a disaster. But I'm just mixing it in and you can sort of see the ripples underneath this paint now. So I'm curious to see what happens with this. Okay, so I left it for about an hour and I have come back, and as you can see, there are some crackly sort of shapes appeared in the paint, and I think that was due to mixing the paint with that second layer of medium. I can't say I'm thrilled with it. I find it not crackled as much as I would like, and there are areas where it's not crackled at all. This particular area, there's nothing. So I'm going to jig it and see what I can come up with. Here we are then. So after quite a lot of work, you can see I've made quite a few differences here. I really did struggle to get this. I've actually put some of the yellow, but I removed that bar that was there, and I've put some colour back in. I've actually brought the sky down a little bit. It was a shame I lost the yellow really. I shouldn't have put that dark bar across. You can see I've actually gone over this with some gold acrylic paint, which actually has picked it up quite nicely, giving it a bit of shine. But I'm not convinced. I think I will go back to the usual Crackle style that I use. Please let me know if you've had any better success with one of these products, mixing the paints together with the Crackle medium. I'd be interested to hear and what brands you recommend. I'm going to keep this, have a look at it and see what else I'm going to do. But for now, this is the finished item. Do please have a go at the original painting, which is great fun, and I will look forward to seeing you all for another project very soon. Thanks for joining me. Keep painting. Bye bye.